back with Avatar: The Last Airbender. This is episode 3 of season 1, and I'm really excited to carry on and see what's going to happen next. As a big journey begins, I guess, for the main trio as they head off to master some waterbending. Would seem to be the big focus of, at least I would say, this season, considering it's like book 1 water or something. But we also have Zuko in the background doing his evil things, I would assume. But either way, I think we've had a really cool setup for these first 2 episodes to be like, okay, this is what, you know, this journey is going to be about, or at least this first part of the journey is going to be about. And I'm excited to see them kind of kick off on that journey and see what awaits them. So without further ado, let's get into the next one.
It's been 100 years since you've been home. That's why I'm so excited. It's just that a lot can change in all that time. I know, but I need to see
everyone you know is dead.
There's a prickle snake in your sleeping bag. Get it off! Get it off! Great, you're awake. Let's go.
Okay, yeah, I'd kill him for that.
That's quite a bit of damage.
Yes, you wouldn't believe what happened.
Do you have any ginseng tea? It's my favorite.
So angry.
Hey, stomach, be quiet, alright? I'm trying to...
This guy's a mood.
Before we get to the temple, I want to talk to you about the airbenders. What about them? Well...
Keep your expectations low.
Be prepared for what you might see. Just because no one has seen an airbender doesn't mean the Fire Nation killed them all. They probably escaped. I know it's hard to accept.
I mean, I know the title of the show. It's not looking good.
The only way to get to... There it is.
Ooh.
Southern Air Temple.
How is your search for the Avatar going?
About as well as that went.
We're going.
Commander Zhao.
Oh.
We interrogated the crew as you instructed. They confirmed Prince Zuko had the Avatar in custody, but let him escape.
Wow, snitches get stitches.
And all you can think about is food?
I'm just a simple guy with simple needs.
So that's where my friends and I would play airball. I can't believe how much things have changed.
So, this airball game, how do you play?
Changes. Oh, that's cool that they're kind of distracting him. Oh my god. I won't even be able to stand on one of those things. Oh.
Katara.
One of those guys.
Fire Nation.
Oh dear.
What is it?
I mean, that's protecting him,
Move I learned.
but also he's going to need to find out eventually.
We have a whole temple to see.
No, you can't protect him forever.
Yeah. What if the temple's full of bones?
He taught me everything I know.
But the true secret
Flashback.
is in the gooey center.
Oh. Your cakes look like turds. So shiny.
How do I know if I'm ready for this?
Oh. Aw. I just play pranks.
Your aim has improved greatly, my young pupil.
Oh, I like his approach to teaching. Especially because it involves cake.
Must miss him.
Oh, that's cool. I like that they would have like locks like targeted towards like their specific powers. It's a very good security system, really.
Anyone home?
If home is heaven, then probably.
You're more pathetic than I thought.
I underestimated him once.
All right.
It will not happen again.
No, it will not. Because you won't have a second chance.
Commander Zhao, I've been hunting the Avatar for 2 years and I...
Failed. Capturing the Avatar is too important.
These guys are so dramatic.
They're lined up in a pattern. Air, water, earth, and fire. That's the Avatar cycle. Of course. They're avatars. All these people are your past lives, eh? Wow.
Oh,
There's
cool.
so many. When the Avatar dies, he's reincarnated into the next nation in the cycle.
Ah, I see. That makes sense.
Thanks.
Give everyone a fair turn.
How do you know his name? I'm not sure. I just know it somehow.
These are all the memories.
You just couldn't get any weirder.
I mean, I think he probably could. Is it a rabbit?
Airbender won't know what hit him.
Hey.
Dinner.
Don't listen to him.
Aw.
He's gonna be my new pet.
Adorable.
If I get him first.
Don't eat the... Oh no.
Are you worried I'm going to try and stop you?
You stop me.
Evil laugh.
Don't
Classic.
listen to me, Zhao.
You're just a banished prince. No home, no allies. Your own
Banished,
father
eh?
doesn't even want you.
You're wrong.
You are a failure and a disgrace to the Fire Nation.
That's not true.
You have the scar to prove it.
Oh, maybe you'd like one to match.
I want to know how he got it.
Challenge.
An Agni Kai.
Have you forgotten what happened last time you dueled the master?
I will never forget.
Firebenders. They were here? Gyatso.
Hey, you find my dinner yet? Everything will be alright. Let's get out of here.
Not for him. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Hey.
Hang, I am telling you. Oh wow.
Send word to the Fire Lord immediately. The Avatar has returned.
What a way to make yourself known.
I'm gonna try and calm him down.
Well, do it before he blows us off the mountain.
Do you want to go penguin sledding? No, probably not then.
I refuse to let him win.
This will be over quickly.
We'll see. After this guy expects to like win a big war when there's so much like internal conflict.
Basics to go. Break his root.
So if he can block that kind of thing without any trouble, that must have been quite the thing that did that to him. Yeah. Not too cocky there, buddy.
Do it!
Do it! Oh, he really did it.
That's it.
Oh, he didn't. Okay.
Your father raised a coward.
Next time you get in my way, I
Bitch,
promise
please, he beat you.
I won't hold back.
You just can't help yourself, can you?
So
I feel like his uncle's
great
like low-key a real badass.
in defeat. Disgraceful. Even in exile, my nephew is more honorable than you. Thanks again for the tea. It was delicious.
Did you really mean that, Uncle?
Of course. I told you ginseng tea is my favorite.
Sokka and I, we're your family now.
Katara and I aren't gonna let anything happen to you. Promise.
Oh.
I'm sorry. It's okay. It wasn't your fault. But you were right.
It looked really
I've been
cool.
From this temple, I really am the last Airbender.
Roll credits.
How is Roku supposed to help me if I can't talk to him? Maybe you'll find a way.
You've had all this inside information already in your head. I'm sure they can find ways of helping you. Ooh, food!
Must eat.
Me.
Hey, little guy.
Bring the lemur with us.
You?
Yes! Oh, that's sad. They'll live on in you, buddy. I thought a face was going to appear in the clouds then, like Mufasa. Okay, that was another really great episode. I like that they continue to kind of delve a bit more into Aang's past before we kind of found him in the iceberg, and I hope we kind of see a bit more of that as well. And we've got a bit of lore about the avatars and how many of them there have been, which is quite numerous. and it seems like Aang kind of has some flashes of maybe memories or knowledge from previous like versions, which kind of makes sense. And there seems to be a cycle to the avatars as well, so it kind of, it's not necessarily random. So, you know, it would be a firebender being one and then an airbender. I like that. I never actually really considered that, like how is the avatar chosen? So it's kind of cool in a fair system, I guess, that there is like a pattern to, you know, who will be the avatar next, like which kind of nation it will be from. So I like that, and it kind of just ties into the whole destiny thing versus, I guess, Zuko very much trying to shape his own one because he wants to get his way back home and be restored to the throne because he's actually been exiled from his kingdom, it would seem, by his father. So there's a bit there to him, and you can tell a lot of the anger from Zuko is him just frustrated with the world and frustrated with the situation. He's just so desperate to prove himself, and time again it seems, you know, things go wrong for him or he's not given the opportunities, and that's what kind of really grinds his gears. As is it Jao kind of presented the obstacle for him in this one, saying, oh no, you're not even going to get a second chance, you're kind of off this, and trying just to get those cheap digs in about his father and everything. And Zuko ultimately challenged him to that duel, and I'm assuming when it happened before that's how he got the scar, but I imagine we're going to get a flashback episode really explaining how that all happened, which I'm very excited for because that intrigues me greatly. But I also enjoyed that this episode focused on the fact that Zuko is really capable as a fighter and everything. He is actually very, very skilled. He can be smart and sensible about combat when it comes down to it, but I do think he's very impulsive as well, and he's very kind of driven by his anger as of late. I'd love to see flashbacks to him being quite young and see how he was compared to how he is now, because I feel like the world's really broken him a lot. So I'd like to see a lot more of that. But once he listened to his uncle, focus on the basics, because I think that Zhao guy kind of got lost in just trying to prove a point and trying to be a bit smug, and he got a bit too overconfident, and he really let himself down there. And Zuko was able to take advantage of that and be smart about things. So there's an intelligence to Zuko as well as just like brawn, which I like. It's a good balance. And I think that makes him a bit more of an interesting threat as well if he's going to continue to like hunt Aang down, as it seems to be the case. And we've seen a bit more of his motivation in this episode as well, because he wants to get back to his father and be restored on the throne, and he was exiled. I want to see exactly why he was exiled in the first place and how that all came about. So yeah, out of everything, I do think I'm most interested in seeing a bit more of Zuko's backstory, because I think there's kind of a lot there. And I also really like his uncle. I love that he's obsessed with tea, which is a mood, and he can be quite quiet, reserved and laid back about things, but he's also very serious and kind of badass when he needs to be. When he kind of berated Zhao for still attacking Zuko even after the battle was done, and been like, oh, thanks for your tea, bye bitch. I really like that attitude, and he does seem to have quite a nice relationship with Zuko as well, that he's clearly missing with his father right now. So it's cool that Zuko does have, I think, a positive role model in his life, and hopefully, he can continue to make progress or change his ways. I don't know exactly where they're going to go with it, but I'm excited for more of that. So the uncle's great. I hope nothing happens to him. That could make Zuko go down an even darker path, because that would suck. So it's cool to see him have like a somewhat positive role model there, and saying, he's more dedicated and more of a man, even in exile, than that Zhao guy ever was. Which is a really nice sentiment, and him even joking about it again at the end, being like, oh yeah, I really did like the tea. So I don't know if he doesn't want Zuko to get a bit complacent, I guess, and just openly say, oh yeah, I did mean everything I said about you, you are really, really good, because then Zuko could get complacent, which is what that Zhao guy's downfall, I think, ultimately was there. So I liked everything with that kind of subplot going on, and it would get old very fast if every episode was, oh, Zuko's on Aang's tail again, he's kind of hunting him down, oh, Aang just escaped in the nick of time. If that was like every single episode, that would get old very fast. So I like that it can do different things with it, and Zuko can clearly hold his own separate storylines from anything else going on with Aang and the others, and it's still very interesting. So I liked everything with them. And yeah, getting a bit more lore with the Avatars, seeing this temple place as well. Getting a glimpse of that. And Momo, as he's now called, adorable little lemur thing, is now joining the party, which I'm all about. I love cutesy little animal sidekicks and things. I'm a sucker for those, so that's cool. And to see the continuing kind of exploration of Aang, Katara, and is it Sokka? Yeah, Sokka's bond as a trio as well. Clearly Katara has a really big heart and didn't want to, you know, tell Aang that the Foundation had been there, and probably for the right reasons. Ultimately, it probably was the right thing to do at the time, because he kind of nearly exploded the place when he found out. But at the same time, it was always going to happen. He needed to find out the truth, and he needed to kind of get the chance to deal with that and process it. You know, I think withholding the truth from him for for ages and ages would just make things all the worse when he ultimately did find out. So it's good for him to, you know, face reality that, you know, so much has changed for him in 100 years. And I imagine that's just the start, you know, scratching the surface of how different the world is now in the 100 years he's been gone. So I'm sure we'll explore that a bit more, which is interesting. So I see where Katara's coming from, trying to like protect him from that information, but ultimately, you know, he just needs to rip off the band-aid and bite the bullet with that. And she was capable of talking him back, and, you know, we saw some flashbacks of Aang with like the mentor guy who, you know, but I really liked that little flashback, and his way of teaching Aang seemed quite light-hearted and fun, and there's a deep kind of level of care there as well, and I think that kind of reflected the bond Zuko and his uncle seem to have, you know, slightly differently, but I think they were presented in similar ways, and they're kind of some of the more wholesome relationships in the show so far. So I like the parallels going on with those two relationships, and to have that flashback in there makes Aang's kind of devastation at the end there, and when it gets all glowy and stuff, it kind of really sells it, because we've seen a glimpse of, you know, how he was and his bonds with people back then as well, and to suddenly be faced with the reality that that's all gone must have been pretty hard, especially when, you know, even though he's technically over 100 now, he's still a kid, really. So that's probably a lot for him to deal with and cope with, so it's good that he has Katara and Sokka around him, and they're able to talk him down and, you know, offer to protect him, and that he's their family now. It's good to know that, you know, someone who's still technically as young as Aang does have a place in the world, he still has a family to look after him, and I hope to see that kind of grow a bit more. And even Sokka seems to be, you know, warming up to Aang a lot more, and willing to, you know, he clearly cares about Aang's feelings, because he was kind of, you know, the opposite with Katara, saying, you know, we can't protect him forever. I think that shows a certain level of respect for Aang that I appreciated, and it was good. It is good to have both those siblings there, because they offered like both sides of an argument in this episode, so that was really well done. And then him, you know, joking about eating the lemur, and his whole subplot basically was that he was hungry in this episode, and I think that was a big freaking mood, and he got some food at the end, so, you know, all's well that ends well. So I liked that, you know, a few bits of like lightheartedness in there, because the fact that Aang's people are basically all dead is pretty dark, but they still could handle it in a really decent, lighthearted-ish way. And yeah, the journey continues. So we've got a bit more lore, not too much, not, you know, we weren't overloaded with stuff, because we still have a long way to go yet with the show. A glimpse of how things were in flashbacks with Aang, seeing the dynamic between like the core three people slowly, you know, be developed as well was really fun. Really enjoyed the subplot with Zuko and that Zhao guy, and super cool badass uncle. So yeah, I'm really enjoying everything they're doing with it so far, and I look forward to seeing what's going to be happening next. But yeah, really great episode, and until my next reaction, thanks for watching.